Hi everybody. Today we're here to talk about overbearing and over-controlling caregivers, how they cause conflict in families, and what you can do about it. Is your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or someone else in your family an overbearing or over-controlling caregiver? Have they taken control and decision-making power away from your mom or dad or somebody else to the degree that you just don't feel comfortable visiting or calling or being involved to the degree that you'd like, because there's always some type of argument, some type of drama, some type of blow up. And so, as a result, maybe you stayed away. Maybe you visited less. Maybe you called less. And today you're looking at the situation saying, something just isn't right. And you're wondering, should I do something? And you're wondering, why should I do something? Well, stay with me all the way to the end of this video while I share background about overbearing caregivers, what happens in families, and what family members and even friends can do to help rebalance these situations that honestly just get out of control. By the way, let me mention, this is video number 2 on the topic of family caregiver conflict, so look for video number 1. It is called Family Caregiver Conflict, Tips to Understand and Manage Disagreements and Have Conversations. It aired a couple of days ago. If this is your first time on my channel here on YouTube, I'm Pamela D Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker with more than 20 years of professional and personal caregiving experience. Please do like this video, follow my channel, and comment, even if it's just to say thanks for the video. Your participation helps other people find their way here. Viewers ask how they can learn more about me, if they can speak to me. All of that information is below. Scroll to the comment section of this video. There are plenty of links that you can click on to learn more about me, gain information from my website, PamelaDWilson.com, and schedule a consultation. So let's look at both sides of the story of overbearing caregivers and family conflict, because if you've seen my videos before, you know that I always like to look at both sides. There are two sides of every story. Many times, an overbearing caregiver gains their leverage. They gain their power because nobody objects, and they're not exactly asking for opinions or feedback. Their attitude may be conquer and win. So how does this happen? Well, sometimes it can happen in families where there are multiple children, and one of the children just steps up to be the caregiver. And they start helping out mom and dad. Maybe they continue to help out mom and dad. Maybe they move into mom and dad's home. Maybe they move mom and dad into their home. And all of the other siblings are like, phew, thank God. We didn't want to have to be the caregivers. We didn't want to have to do that. Amen that Sally or John are taking this responsibility. We are so thankful. And they go on with their lives. Until one day, you or your siblings are looking at the situation and you're like, something's not right. Mom and dad aren't doing well. We can't even show up. We can't even call without feeling uncomfortable. How does it happen from your mom and dad's standpoint? Well, your mom or dad, if they need care, if they have health problems, they may have not been in a position to object because, well, you know what? One of their children showed up. They wanted to be helpful. They wanted to provide care. My other children, they didn't care enough. They didn't want to be involved. And maybe, along the way, your mom or dad appointed this overbearing and over-controlling sibling as their agent under power of attorney, as the executor of their estate, maybe as the trustee of their trust. Because, why? Nobody else in the family was showing up. So what does that do? That gives this person more power and more power and more power Now, if their intentions are good, no problem. If their intentions are not so good, it could be a significant problem for your parents. Now let's look at bigger picture. It's possible that your overbearing or over-controlling sibling or this caregiver has been like this all their life. Maybe they've been abrupt and commanding and overbearing. Maybe their career role supported these behaviors, and they never learned to let go and relax and work with and involve other people and be on a team because they didn't have to. Overbearing caregivers can want to control everything down to the tiniest detail. What time does your parent wake up? What time do they go to sleep? What do they eat? What can they watch on television? Who can visit? Who can call? And on and on and on. This need to be in control can really become an obsession. Now, in the caregiver's defense, maybe your mom and dad or somebody else exhibited all these behaviors throughout their childhood. So these behaviors were modeled and they were viewed as positive and good and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, the result would be that maybe this caregiver then through their life had trouble making friends because they were not like the nicest, most patient person. Maybe they were criticized, and because of that, they felt that they had to become a bully and over-controlling to fend off all of this criticism and ridicule and people who didn't like them. Maybe that's what fueled these behaviors and what continues to fuel these behaviors. People not being nice to them. So what do? They just reject people, isolate, send them away. So if you are a sibling in this family, maybe you ran away. Maybe you wanted to get as far from your controlling parents and your controlling sibling as possible. And now you're watching a situation and you're thinking, it's not so good. But throughout your life, because of your controlling parents and your sibling who was bossy and a bully, maybe you have tended to avoid conflict. Maybe you've intended to avoid disagreements. You just don't want to agree with people. So you're seen as the nice person who wants to get along with everybody. Well, sometimes that doesn't work because then what you want, your needs, your goals in life, they get stepped on. They get made small so that you cannot be the person that you want to be. And you've kind of given up things to defer to what everyone else likes and what everyone else wants. And maybe you now feel that that's not a good decision. So all of these family interactions, these family dynamics, very challenging, can result in a lot of conflict. So your over-controlling parents may have taught your over-controlling sibling, and not really in a good way. And now you're thinking, do I do anything? Do I have to do anything? Do I have a duty and a responsibility to do anything? Well, what I can tell you is that your involvement may save your elderly parents or this person who needs care from an unintentional situation of abuse and neglect. Imagine what it would be like to have your every move monitored and criticized, and you feel like you can't even make a decision that you want to have like oatmeal this morning instead of pancakes. The plate shows up and guess what you're eating? What kind of a life would that be? Imagine being criticized or reprimanded for just thinking differently or for asking an innocent question to the degree that you don't even want to speak up. You don't want to say anything. Your parents feel like they can't get a word in edgewise, and they just stop speaking. They stop talking. They shut up. Imagine being stuck in a care situation where you're in this situation. You can't leave. You lack the power. You're afraid to tell anybody about your concerns because the person caring for you has verbally or physically abused that person to the point where if they say anything or they complain, it's going to be way worse than it is right now. That is not a place that anyone ever wants to be or expects to be, especially if they are a person who has a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's, who has even less control or their ability to advocate for themselves or to speak up to tell somebody, I need help. Something's wrong. This isn't wrong. Help me. I don't even know how to tell you to help me. Older adults, by virtue of age and health problems, can become more vulnerable to the bad intentions of family members and even strangers, especially when they have health problems. The ability at that stage in life to be able to advocate or speak up can seem like it's just too much effort, which is why this family member or this person that you are watching in the situation needs your help. They need you to be their advocate. They need you to intervene. Imagine if you were in the same situation. Wouldn't you be saying, oh my gosh, where have all my friends gone? Who can help me? Why am I in this hellacious situation? So, being the caregiver on the outside, the person on the outside, what can you do to start to rebalance this caregiving situation that really has become so out of control with this overbearing or controlling caregiver? I imagine you might be a little scared to do anything, right? Well, be forewarned. Their first response is going to be to scare you off and send you away saying, I don't need your help. I have this under control. I've been doing this for years. You never showed up. You never cared. Now you're showing up? I don't think so. Do not be swayed by their threats. Imagine, okay, if they're threatening you in this manner, if they're engaging in conflict and criticism and all these other actions, imagine what it's like for the person that they are caring for. Honestly, it has to be a nightmare. So, as a family member, you have a right to visit. As a friend, you have a right to visit. So as difficult as visiting or calling may be, to spend time with your loved one, make it happen. Tell the caregiver, hey, I'm coming over Saturday. Coming over to visit. And you know what? If you want to take a break, go ahead, leave for a couple hours. I'll be there. Be supportive of the caregiver, understanding that somehow they got into this impossible situation. It may not be what they want either, but they have no idea how to change it when they've alienated so many other people. They may not even know how to change their behavior. Again, two sides to every story. Take your parents out. Take them to a different environment. Take them out to dinner. Take them to your house. By doing this, you may gain their trust and they may be willing to speak up and say something. You may gain better insights onto what really is going on there. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not. Do your parents seem resistant to spend time with you or leave their home for any reason? Does mom or dad appear stressed or anxious or more confused? Are there any physical signs of harm? Have they lost weight? Is their health stable? Do you know if they have friends? Have their friends been visiting? Or have their friends also been scared away? Isolation is a tactic of overbearing caregivers. Do your best to be very understanding and loving of everyone in this situation, but really firm in your commitment and your desire to be more involved in your parents' or a loved one's life. Again, create that schedule for showing up. Let them know you're going to call every day. And while initially they may resist, which I can tell you they will, keep going back and back and back and being persistent. Don't let them scare you away. I know these situations, not easy when they have grown in severity over time, when they snowballed over a period of 1 year or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. At first, that care situation may have seemed totally reasonable with your sibling taking care of your parents or somebody else. May have allowed you to go on with your life and do what you wanted to do. But after a while, you may have had questions. you may have seen signs saying, yeah, something's just not right there. And today, you are flat out worried. This is why your involvement and the involvement of other people, your parents' friends, is critical. Can you ask old friends to visit? Can you ask other family members to visit or call or write letters? The more eyes on the situation, the better. The more involvement, the better. It's going to take time to rebalance this situation. It's going to take time for your family caregiver to be less resistant because they know if they can scare you away, they got this covered. Don't let them do that. Even if there is no harm happening, even if everything is just great and your loved one is just over-controlling, letting them know that you're going to be involved and other people are going to be involved can maybe help them ease their level of control. And let you be a caregiver one day a week. Let them go take a day off. Now, if the situation is worse than expected, you may need another plan. I have videos on this channel about that. My contact information is also below. I can help you evaluate the situation, look at the pros and cons of various scenarios and how to move through this. I thank you all so much for being here. I know it's a difficult discussion, but it happens in more families than you would ever imagine, which is why it's better to have conversations way before caregiving starts or in the beginning of care situations to avoid these situations ever from happening. Please do like this video, follow my channel, tell others about it, comment, even if it's yes only to say thanks for the video. This helps other people find their way here to my channel. Again, thank you so much for being here. I will see you all again soon in another video.